Every single one of you knows that Call of Duty gets a ton of mileage, millions of miles out of map remakes.
And I need you. And I miss you.
I mean, they don't even try to give them new themes or names anymore. They just port them into new games one for one, which I guess is better than adding a bunch of unnecessary doors to them, but it still feels a bit lazy. Sometimes these map remakes are maps that literally nobody asked for, which makes you wonder, who in the world is in charge of giving them and suggesting them? Are the developers listening? I don't know. I mean, I start my case. I'm presenting my case to you guys. Welcome to the channel, Jimmy or Chaos. I read every single comment on every single video. Atlas Gorge. Advanced Warfare. Seriously, a remake of Pipeline from COD 4, but let's throw jetpacks in it. So you have a map that nobody was asking to be remade. Nobody in the suggestion box put that in there. And we're going to play with jetpacks, which is obviously not what the map was designed to be played in the first place. So I'm going to ask Sledgehammer. Also, Sledgehammer, Call of Duty 2027 leak. Sledgehammer fully in charge. Check out that video. It's up on the channel. I am excited. I'm optimistic as well, but you go check out the video. Anyway, what were they smoking when they made this decision? On one hand, I give Sledgehammer a bit of grace here. It was their first full-fledged Call of Duty game. They were bound to make a few mistakes, but on the other hand, can't really use that as an excuse because Sledgehammer has always been a very community-driven studio, so they should have known. They should have known that literally nobody was asking for a remake of COD 4's Pipeline. That's not even me saying that COD 4 Pipeline was bad. It wasn't. But literally nobody was asking for it to be remade. It was a mid-tier, maybe high-tier map in COD 4, and there was a million other maps from Call of Duty's Golden Age that would have benefited more from a remake. And all of that just glosses over the fact that Advanced Warfare had jetpacks. So obviously, any Golden Age map remake was going to play completely differently than it did back in the Golden Age. So I am sitting here again, staring at the TV or the monitor and my mic, asking myself, what was the point? And you know what? The same goes for Rupture and Black Ops 3. Was anybody asking for a remake of World at War's Outskirts? Raise your hand. I mean, this was one of the biggest 6v6 maps in Call of Duty history. And the only reason it worked back in World at War is because we had freaking tanks. Treyarch thought it would be a great idea to bring this map back in Black Ops 3 again, where everyone has jetpacks once again. That's the theme here. And they replaced the tanks with giant, methodical, slow-walking, clumsy mechs. Made the game feel like a cheap version of Titanfall. When I say cheap, I emphasize the word cheap. Cheap. The map obviously wasn't designed for jetpacks or wall running, so the aspect was completely screwed up. But then there was also the fact that tanks in the original version of the map, they helped keep things exciting and keep traversal quicker. Black Ops 3, you didn't need a gimmick to keep traversal quick. It was quick. Everybody had unlimited sprint. Jetpacks, the giant size of the map felt unnecessary, and everybody had an easy way to get away from the mech suit, so you could just hold down the X button and fly away from one if you saw it. Outskirts in World at War was already a pretty divisive map because of the size. I mean, well, size and slow pace, but Rupture and Black Ops 3 made things really, really unfun. That's a word. Across the board. Because there's few things about Outskirts that gave it personality, but they were there, and now they're gone. Not only was it a map remake nobody asked for, it was a map remake that completely misunderstood what the original was memorable for. Speaking of originals, Drive-In. Drive-In and Black Ops Cold War. Now, Drive-In was one of the DLC maps in the original Black Ops. I would never say it's a bad map, but it wasn't a fan favorite. But I know throughout the years we've talked about it, and there has been a little cult following that enjoys it. I respect that. Trust me. I was there for the original Black Ops era, and a lot of people like to talk like they were actually there for the COD Golden Age, but they weren't. I was there. I lived it. You can go back through my channel for evidence of that, and I can tell you firsthand that Drive-In, it wasn't the top-tier fan favorite. Again, wasn't bad, but I don't think anybody thought it was amazing. Pretty big map, some cool theming, nice visuals, but the layout could be kind of hit or miss depending on the game mode. There was definitely some sections of the map where camping was the dominant strategy, which that kind of clashed with the generally fast pace of Black Ops 1 as a whole. Treyarch decided to bring this map back as DLC in Black Ops Cold War. I'm not really sure why. There was a lot of great maps in the original Black Ops that never got remakes, so why Drive-In? I mean, I guess you could say it fit with the 80s theme of the game as a whole, but why not just make a new map set in the 80s? Why not remake a fan favorite and give it an 80s makeover? Drive-In wasn't bad. I say that for the third time, but I don't think anybody was actually asking for it to be remade. And since we're talking about Black Ops Cold War and all of the bizarre remake choices, Zoo. Come on. I mean, this is a map I absolutely would call a bad map from the Golden Age. It was yet another DLC map from Black Ops 1. Despite having a cool setting and some visuals, it wasn't fun. The layout was weird. The spawns sucked, and it was generally too cluttered to be fun in 6v6. You either ran out and got shot from 10 different directions, or you sat in one of the million different corners, and you waited for people to come to you, neither of which is a fun way to play the game. Treyarch brought it back in Black Ops Cold War. Almost no changes to the layout or flow. Once again, it wasn't fun despite the awesome theming. And I think it's a shame because a zoo is a cool choice for a Call of Duty map location. But this map, it completely squandered the potential, in my opinion. I don't know if Treyarch was hoping if they remade it that it would suddenly become fun. Whatever the reasoning was, though, they were wrong. It's not fun in Black Ops 1. It's not fun in Black Ops Cold War. Now, there's a lot of Black Ops maps on this list. I understand that. So I wonder if Treyarch has been trying to tell us something. Yet another Treyarch DLC map. Remake. Takeoff. I mean, release for Black Ops 2. Remake of Stadium. DLC map from Black Ops 1. Guess what? Nobody asked for it. Come on. Stadium was an okay mid-size map. Takeoff copy-pasted the entire layout with a new coat of paint that made it more visually appealing than the first time around. I'll give it that. But when it came to the game flow, same problems. Same problems as Stadium. The high ground was too powerful, the spawns were too hard-locked, and it all made the pacing really inconsistent because sometimes everybody would just be sitting in the corners and other times everybody would be rushing the high ground in the middle of the map, and neither scenario made for a very fun Call of Duty experience. I will say this. Takeoff in Black Ops 2 was better than Stadium in Black Ops 1, but neither map was high tier, and I don't understand why Treyarch brought it back after the original attempt, and both versions of the map were paid DLC. They made you pay extra for Stadium in Black Ops 1, and guess what? They made you pony up for it a second time in Black Ops 2, and they didn't fix the major issues. That's kind of shady to me. Now we arrive at the top 5. Let's get out of the Black Ops era. Modern Warfare 3 2023, giant love letter to the Modern Warfare subseries at this time, and Sledgehammer did an amazing job at bringing the community together despite the ridiculous circumstances they were expected to develop in. They wanted to bring back some of the best elements from every Modern Warfare game in the multiplayer, so by the time all the updates were released, it was an absolutely jam-packed nostalgia trip. There's my pitch. Let me ask you guys a question. Why in the world is Crown Raceway here? Do you even remember Crown Raceway? Nobody ever voted for it when it came up in the pregame lobby. That's because it was a map from Modern Warfare 2 2022, a game with precisely 0 top-tier maps, and I don't know if Sledgehammer needed to pad the map count during one of the DLC seasons, so they ported this map over for Modern Warfare 2, but Crown Raceway, it was one of those hated maps from the game. I don't think anybody wanted to see it ever again after the game season ended, but Sledgehammer brought it back in Modern Warfare 3, and they presented it to us as if we would be really excited, but no, we were not. It was as bad as it was in Modern Warfare 2. It was. Sledgehammer didn't expect us to pay extra for it, but I'm really not sure why they brought it back. I mean, there are some tolerable maps from Modern Warfare 2 2022. There's some decent ones from Modern Warfare 2019 as well that never made it over to Modern Warfare 3, so why in the world would you pick Crown Raceway to port it in the game? Guess it was a pretty easy process then. I don't know. Just a glorified expansion of Modern Warfare 2 anyway, so whatever. Who asked for it? If Sledgehammer really wanted to remake some maps from the new Modern Warfare era, they could have brought over Gunrunner, they could have brought over Hackney Yard, but no, they didn't. They brought over Crown Raceway. Now, raise your hand if you're playing Black Ops 7 right now. I don't think many of my viewers really care about the game, but I do know the Black Ops Classic mode has at least gotten some of you to reinstall it, and let's talk about Vertigo. It's one of the DLC maps in Black Ops 2. Pretty cool theme. Set on top of a massive industrial building in India, where a bunch of Easter eggs were scattered around the environment. Now, why Treyarch decided to remake it in Black Ops 7? I'm clueless. It was a neat map back in the day. Wasn't top tier. I mean, in a game filled with banger maps, I'm puzzled as to how Treyarch voted this from Black Ops 2 DLC, and they picked it to be remade. I mean, there's some incredible maps in the game that have never been brought back. Cove, Bagma, Encore, Mirage, I could go on and on. None of those maps have ever been brought back, but someone at Treyarch said, you know what? Let's port Vertigo virtually unchanged into Black Ops 7. Now, I'm not judging them. I know the map has a fan club, but why? What is it with Treyarch remaking DLC maps that nobody remembers instead of remaking fan favorites that everybody wants back? And since we're on the topic, Chaos segue, Gridlock in Black Ops 7. Who the heck even remembers Gridlock? If I didn't tell you this was one of the launch maps from Black Ops 4, would you have known? Be honest with me. I don't think you would have. Gridlock was a decent enough map back in the BO4 era, but it was straightforward, extremely straightforward. It wasn't super memorable, just a long, narrow map with a handful of power positions and a couple flanking routes. That's it. I mean, what is it about the map that made somebody at Treyarch say, yeah, that's the one we should remake? The map was basically nothing special. That's the one that should get remade instead of all the amazing maps from Black Ops history that have never been touched. I mean, I'm holding out hope for a remake of Cove because I think that's one of the best maps from the COD Golden Age, but apparently I can just go walk off a cliff because Treyarch would rather give us a remake of Gridlock from Black Ops 4 while also getting the 20th remake of Nuketown. I also wasn't under the impression that anybody was nostalgic enough for Black Ops 4's era that they would need remakes from that, but I was wrong. Now, Hacienda. Hacienda was a perfectly decent map. I would even go as far to say it was one of the best maps in Black Ops 4. But once again, nobody asked for this. I know Treyarch probably wanted to show some love to maps they designed during the BO4 era because the BO4 era doesn't get much love these days, but at the end of the day, you got to give your community what they want. And at the end of the day, again, nobody was asking for a remake of Hacienda, especially not with the BO6 launch map situation being as dire as it was. I mean, sure, Black Ops 6 had plenty of maps on launch day, but the general consensus from what I got was the new maps weren't very good, and that we would have much rather had some classic maps remade in the new engine so we could see how they played with new Omni movement. But before remaking the classics, let's get Hacienda in there. You know what? I guess I would take an average at best remake over the crap that was the #1 pick on today's list, and that's just to have some fun. I'm going to give you guys 5 seconds to guess what it is. What do you think the most unasked for map remake in Call of Duty history is? Because if you said anything other than the USS Texas and Vanguard, you were wrong. Whose idea was it? Whose idea was it to take one of the most hated maps from COD World War II and remake it as a 1-for-1 in COD Vanguard? I am genuinely asking, because I have no clue who thought it was a good idea. I equally have no clue who went along with it and voted yes, because clearly a decent number of people, or yes men, had to think it was a good enough idea to finish development of the thing. USS Texas was widely hated in COD World War II for the long, narrow design. It made it way too easy to get spawn traps, seriously limited the number of viable playstyles. Then, Sledgehammer brought it back in COD Vanguard, virtually unchanged. And guess what? Once again, hated for being way too long and narrow. Hated for being able to get spawn trapped. And hated, once again, seriously, by limiting the number of viable playstyles. With how much hate Vanguard got right out of the gate from the reveal trailer, you would have thought Sledgehammer would want to score some easy brownie points with the community by remaking some classic maps. They did remake some classics like Dome and World at War's Dome and Castle, all went over well with the community. But remaking USS Texas, bad move. Made them look completely out of touch with the community. Almost everybody hated this map in COD World War II's era, and you brought it back in Vanguard like a slap in the face. Come on. There you go. Let me know 2 maps that were remade that you never asked for that I forgot.